From high above Peach State Speedway, we bring you United Speed Alliance Racing 2001, the Hooters Pro Cup Series. And tonight, round 8 for the season, round 6 in the Southern Division, the Jackaroo Sauces 250, presented by Ingalls at Peach State Speedway in Jefferston, Georgia, about an hour north of the city of Atlanta. I'm Brian Drebber. My broadcast partner here in the booth is Gene Crane. We're glad you could join us. And the third member of our broadcast team is Daytona 200 winner and motorsports expert David Sadowski. Lots of kids having a great evening here while mom and dad are sitting in the stands waiting for the races to get started. And we're glad that you could join us. A great evening for racing and a nice crowd is on hand tonight.
Brian, there's a 40-year history of racing here at Peach State Speedway, but the story coming into tonight is the 7 races that have been run thus far in the 2001 season. 6 different drivers have gone to victory lane, and 3 of them have been first-time winners.
There are probably more than a few people here that remember when this was called Jeffco. We mentioned David Sadowski, the third member of our broadcast team. He walked a lap of the track. Here's Ski.
Guys, when you talk about Peach State Speedway, you have to talk about turn 4. This corner has tricked many a stock car racer. If you look over my shoulder at turn 3 there in the middle of it, it's a very banked turn and it rolls off flat here. And the guy that built this wall, I'd like to know what he had for lunch. The wall kind of comes out at the drivers and they have to make a steering change as they're sliding the car sideways and trying to accelerate up the front straightaway here. It's kind of like landing on an aircraft carrier in high seas. I'm going to head up and see the pole sitter.
Well, while Ski continues his track walk, take a look at some of the crews getting set to go here, and there are more than a few things about this racetrack that are in the realm of the unknown, Gene Crane.
Indeed, 18-degree banking, but the front straightaway and back straightaway are kind of crowned. They're kind of up at an upper level. When you dump off into the corner, you're dropping into a hole into those 18-degree banks.
Well, I think Ski has just about made it up to the front of the grid, so let's go back downstairs for the pole award winner.
Well, guys, as we're getting set to go, I've got to start this deal from the 4th row. There's some mighty fast cars back here. Jason Sarvis, who's taken over the 92 Stacy Purrier car, gridded next to Bill Plemons Jr. in the Hooters car. Bobby Gill qualifying on the 3rd row. That's uncharacteristic of him, but he's getting used to doing that. Curtis Davis in the 00 car. He's got a great starting position from the inside of row 3. Jay Fogelman, as well as Stephen Christian, both very good drivers here at Peach State. And the 22 Jackaroo Meat Sauces car of Del Murphy, that'll be his best starting position this year. But the man we want to talk to is the 42 driver, Brian Vickers. Brian, a smoking lap time on pole.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, it's pretty tough racing against these Fords, but I don't think they have anything for the Stewart Chevrolet. It's we had it hooked up. We struggled a little bit in practice, but we're going to be all right. You know, we got a new crew chief, Dean Johnson, there with us this week. I'd like to say hi to Stevie. Appreciate all the help he got us through last year, but Dean done a good job setting it up.
Brian, you're our Lance Snacks Pole Award winner, and we wish you luck in the race.
All right, thanks a lot.
16 times he's qualified in the top 3, but his first Lance Snacks Pole Award, Brian Vickers. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky, yet unrefined. By Naturally Fresh Dressings. It's not just our name, it's our promise. By Jackaroo Sauces. Jackaroo tastes so great they named a steakhouse after us. By Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. And by Lucas Oil Products, the official lubricant of USAR, and a worldwide leader in heavy-duty and high-performance lubricants. Hope you're settling in for the race here tonight, and David Sadowski is going to be busy. We know that. Here he is.
Well, this is the first in the Hooters Pro Cup Series. Twin brothers, crew chief and driver. These are the Hall brothers, Jason Hall and Scott Hall. Scott, tell me about having your twin brother working on your car for you.
Oh, it's great. You know, we've been racing together for probably about 9 years now, and it just keeps getting better and better every year. And especially being with Taylor Motorsport and a teammate like Hal Goodson, you know, you can't go wrong there. Carlin Financial Group, Investec. I mean, it's just a great team all around. You know, Hal showed that he can drive a car, and I want to get out here and show him that I can do it, earn a little respect. That's what we're going to try to do tonight. And with my brother here, I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, he helps me get around this place, but the main thing is safety. He always looks out for my safety.
Yeah, well, me and my brothers, we always had to flip a coin to see who would drive. Do you have to flip a coin with him?
No, I drove one time, and things didn't go too well. Made it to the 14th lap on a 15-lap race, flipped the car over, and I said, well, I'm better off in the pit area, so that's where I like to stay.
One e-ticket ride was one too many for Jason, huh? Jason, tell me about when your brother gets strapped into the car. It's just not another driver. When you're setting your torque wrench, there's some extra measure of safety there.
There he is. It's a driver crew chief, but the relationship between us, we're brothers. So I'm strapping my brother into a race car. So I want to make sure everything's okay with the car, make sure it's safe for him to drive.
All right, Brian and Gene, look for the 54. It's the brotherly love of the Hall family.
And you can tell which one is Scott. He's the race car driver because he's wearing the race car driver suit. But other than that, they look just alike. Hootie the Owl presiding over the competition ceremonies here tonight. And, of course, racing is just about set to begin. So with more than a little anticipation, we go trackside. Ingles store manager Dale Bentley with the most famous words in racing.
Drivers, start your engines.
Brian Vickers in the Stewart Technologies pole-sitting race car, and a beautiful night for racing, Gene.
Beautiful night indeed. Air temperature is 79 degrees, a beautiful day all day long. We anticipate a great night of racing with clear skies throughout the evening.
A few little sun showers in the afternoon. Didn't interrupt qualifying. Might have cooled the track off a little bit. Then the sun came out again and put the temperature right back where you would expect it to be. So the field is set to go here tonight. 36 cars will take the green flag, 18 rows, and you're looking at most of them as we get set to roll them out here in anticipation of the green flag.
A lot of anticipation down on pit road just prior to tonight's race. Everybody kind of anxious to get at this racetrack. It's going to be a tire strategy race tonight.
Well, a lot of drivers and teams come here with an idea of what they want to do to win. The track has an idea of its own. As we look at our Jackaroo Sauces starting grid, Brian Vickers is our Lance Snacks pole sitter here tonight. Dale Murphy, indeed, his best starting position. Stephen Christian, yes, he knows a lot about this racetrack, and the Lucas Oil Products number 16, along with Jay Fogelman's number 8, Cooper Family Ford, are going to do just fine here tonight.
The Document Technology Chevrolet of Curtis Davis goes inside row 3, and he is joined by defending champion Bobby Gill in his Triple Diamond Enterprises Ford. Fresh off a win in Thompson, Connecticut, Bill Plymouth Jr. starts the Hooters Ford inside row 4, and on the outside, change your scorecards, Jason Sarvis now in the number 92, Bryant Heating and Cooling Chevrolet.
Jason and Scott Hall take the Taylor Motorsports Chevy from row number 5 alongside. Take a good look at Lee Tissett. We've been calling him the Invisible Man. You may not see him again in the Cars Plus Chevy. Hal Goodson, the other Taylor Motorsports entry, Carlin Financial, and John Curley with the Catawba Valley Community College number 44 is row 6.
Another first-time winner here in 2001, Shane Huffman starts his Johnsonville Bratwurst Ford inside of row number 7. He is joined by Mario Goslin, his number 10 Chevrolet, sponsored by Carter Grandel. Jeremy Bowser takes the Perk Chassis Ford number 58 from inside row 8, and John Kinder in the Multimedia Graphics Chevrolet in the 08 position.
Toby Robertson, number 23 in the TWR Motorsports Chevy with Marty Ward, who has won here 4 times. A rare appearance by him in the 97 car. Mike Laughlin Jr. in the Carolina Kid Car Ford with Jimmy McLean, Team Chevrolet, obviously a Chevy.
Welcoming back Randy Porter in his Lect Motorsports Ford. He's been absent for about 2 years from the series. And Danny Sammons brings his Fred Trailers, Hallmark Trailers Ford Taurus to the inside of row 12. Stacy Purrier makes the switch into the car number 11, the Naturally Fresh Foods Chevrolet.
Neil Browder takes the Mark III Employee Benefits Don Browder Chevy. He's got an all-star crew here tonight. We'll talk more about that later. Chad Mullis in the Mullis Drilling Service Ford is alongside him in row number 13. We go back another row to 14 with Ralph Carnes in the Troy's Muffler Shop Chevy and R.D. Smith in the Hot Rod Magazine entry number 179.
Derek Kelly again kicking himself with his qualifying effort. He brings his Discount Auto Parts Chevrolet from the 29th position. He is joined by rookie leader Daniel Johnson, his Happy Hunting Ground Whitetail Research Chevrolet. Mark Nesbitt, the GlaxoSmithKline Chevrolet is 31st, and Ronnie Davidson's number 6 C&T Classic Chevy 32nd.
Provisional starts for Chris Gordon in the Paxton Stewart Land Company Ford. 18 years, Jabe Jones says he's been coming here, and the track's different every night for the McGee and Jones Motorsports Chevy. Tom Pistone in the Bully Hill Vineyards Ford, and Joe Harrison Jr. also with provisional starts back there. Jabe Jones says if Darlington's the lady in black, this place is the Black Witch. It fools him every time. It did again tonight.
Jabe's got a lot of history here at the Speedway, but not only Jabe, but Jabez, his dad, racing throughout the northeastern portion of Georgia.
So the cars are rolling around the racetrack right now behind the pace car, and the field lined up behind Lance Snack's pole sitter Brian Vickers in that number 42 car, a Northern Series driver coming down here for a little dip into the south. Jason Sarvis in the Bryant Heating and Cooling entry. Again, the former car of Stacy Purrier, number 92. He starts from 8th position, and you'll be riding with him, as will Stephen Christian carry an onboard camera. The Lucas Oil Products entry. He's inside row number 2, looking square at the back bumper of the pole sitter number 42. Off the deck lid of the Jackaroo Meat Sauces entry number 22 of Del Murphy, his best start effort. And from the front row, you'll be looking at the whole rest of the field while the officials get set to go. We will too, and we'll be right back here to Jeffco, or Peach State Speedway, if you will, in just a few moments. Welcome back to the Jackaroo Sauces 250, presented by Ingles here at Peach State Speedway in the great state of Georgia. Everybody trying to get a little heat in the tires before they get started. There's the 44 Catawba Valley Community College entry of John Curley. And go is exactly what they are going to do here in just a few moments as Brian Vickers prepares to take him to the green flag. Lights are out on the pace car, and that means it's going to be go at any moment, Gene.
It's going to be a tough race tonight. This track is very abrasive on tires. Pit crews are going to have to map out their strategy to keep their driver calm, to have tires before the finish tonight.
Getting ready to wave the green flag is 6-year-old Cole Miller, whose dad Todd is a network administrator for Eastern Foods. What a great honor. There's a young man getting a little bit of help down there behind the banner. I don't think his hands are quite that big, nor does he wear a wedding ring at age 6. You think so, Gene?
Yeah, he's having a little tough time, but I guarantee you that young man had quite a thrill.
Oh,
with those
yeah.
36 starters roaring beneath him. Up front, looks like Brian Vickers is jumping out front right away.
And Stephen Christian, a big gap back to him. A little bit of a hitch over there in turn 2 for the number 16 car. On the outside, Del Murphy likewise having some problem keeping up with his qualifying speed so far anyway, but the field is stretched out a couple of car lengths back to second, a few more to third, but there's Brian Vickers in the number 42 Stewart Components Royal Purple 2 Quick Shocks Chevrolet. He mentioned tough to beat these Fords, not having a problem right now.
Good battle for third, and they're already swapping things down the front stretch. Davis on the inside and Murphy up there on the outside, and Bill Clemens Jr. right there in striking distance.
Curtis Davis taking the edocutech.com twister car. Oh, Del Murphy getting down on the low side, and everybody's taking evasive action. Oh, big hit up against the wall.
That was
for
one of
the
the yellow
54 car, but here's Curtis Davis pointing down the track. He gets going again, but the number 54 of Scott Hall, remember that with his twin brother Jason as the crew chief. Now Curtis Davis gets going, some obvious damage to the right front. Take another look at what's going on here.
Down the back stretch, looks like Davis, don't know if he was moving up a little bit. Murphy's car seemed to be stable on the line, but nonetheless the damage is done. Davis in the wall. Here comes Scott Hall backwards into it. All I could
Big
see,
hit.
Yeah,
Up on the wall.
Man.
Oh, that you saw just a glimpse of it. And lots of tail end damage to the Taylor Motorsports number 54. There it is up on the wall.
Man, he hit it a ton.
Unbelievable hit. Curtis Davis has made it back down to the pits. Ski is waiting for him. Ski.
Guys, word from the crew, Curtis Davis got a little scruff with Del Murphy. Right side front, damage here. Going for some cosmetic repairs. Going up on the car here possibly. They got tires ready to go on, but we're too early in this one for tires. Curtis Davis getting some body work, and he should be back out. He may lose one lap here if these guys don't get with it. Back up to you, Brian.
Thanks, Ski. He's going to be busy tonight here if the Black Witch, as Jabe Jones calls it, is true to her nature. As we said, this place can fool you in a hurry, especially over there in the turn 4 area. Now, there's one of our camera guys that was ducking over there in the turn 3 area as Scott Hall came after him. The wrecker's out on the racetrack, and the safety crew, of course, doing a great job, as always, monitoring the situation. We'll continue to do the same while you take a break. Do what you got to do, and come on back. Well, the fans have settled back into their seats just a little bit after our first caution of the evening, and the damage to Curtis Davis's car is obvious. The crew still working on it, and they've got some work to do. David Sadowski down there roaming the pits. Let's go back down to Ski.
That was not enough fun for one evening.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't long enough. They got all bunched up down here in the corner, and I got slowed down, I thought, but I think the guys behind me, didn't get slowed down fast enough. I just seen it out of the corner of my eye, and I didn't know what was going on.
You look all right. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah.
Better luck next time, brother.
Thanks.
Boy, Gene Ski's right. Not enough fun for your money so far here tonight. Just a handful of laps in the books. David Sadowski still roaming around down there, and he's caught up with Curtis Davis, the other car involved.
Curtis, what happened out there?
The 22 car was racing me a little bit too hard. He shouldn't have been racing that hard on the first start of the race, you know, and I was holding my line and he come down on me and got me in the rear quarter. I guess that's racing, you know. We're going to try to get this thing back together and get back out there and collect some more points there for the end of the year. I just hate it for eDocument.com and Document Technologies out of Florida. They've helped me out a little bit. I'm still looking for a major sponsor with somebody to come aboard to help this team out.
All right, guys, back up to you.
Curtis Davis came into the race tonight 11th in points. Had a pretty good season so far. 3 of 5 races, he's posted a top 10.
Absolutely, and Curtis Davis, one of the talented drivers here. Want to say hi to his brother Kyle, who's spending the summer down at the beach again. And I guess while Curtis flies the racetracks of America, his brother's hanging out on the beach. We're back under green now with Brian Vickers, Stephen Christian, and Bill Clemens Jr. has made a move up into 3rd. Bobby Gill from 5th to 6th, no big problem there. Of course, everybody shuffled just a little bit, and Lee Tissett was right behind. Whoa, a little more contact coming at us there. We're holding our breath up here at the booth while David Sadowski uses some of his hustling around on pit road. But the 10 car and the 58 having a little bit of fun out there. Mario Gosselin and Jeremy Bowser doing a little bit of rubbing, and that's racing.
Brian, it's interesting. The top 2 from Thompson, Connecticut, the Northern Tour race, are in the top 3 right now. Only Steve Christian separates the Northern drivers here in this Southern Tour race this evening.
Of course, both Brian Vickers and Bill Clemens Jr. with a lot of experience against the drivers of the Southern Division because it was all one division in the year 2000. So we've split it up this year, and these guys are going to spend a little bit of time racing apart, but a lot of time racing together, especially at the end of the year when it really counts. Our 4 Champions Challenge Series to determine the overall champion of Hooters Pro Cup 2001. Bill Clemens Jr. having a little bit of a push and shoving, showing them where you're at deal going on back there with Christian, while Hal Goodson is working on the outside of the 55 car of the formerly Invisible Man, Lee Tissett. There he is. Get a good look at the 55 cars plus entry. That man has been getting the job done this season.
Bobby Gill looking to the inside of Murphy. Looks like he's going to get the spot for Murphy. Jason Sarvis, we mentioned it during the introductions. Sarvis now in the 92. That was the car driven by Stacy Purrier. Purrier goes to the 11 car, which was Jason Sarvis's former car.
And so far with the musical chairs, we're going to have to give the edge to Jason Sarvis as he comes out of this with a real fine qualifying effort, starting in 8th position and racing at the front of the field. Stacy Purrier struggling just a little bit with his new ride, Deeper. Starting 24th with Stacy Purrier, the Naturally Fresh Foods Chevrolet, while Jason Sarvis right there off the deck lid of Del Murphy's Jackaroo Sauces car. He's driving the heck out of that Bryant Heating and Cooling Chevrolet that started 8th.
Right behind him is the Invisible Man, 55 of Lee Tissett. Tissett putting together another good run here this evening.
And of course, Gene, we're both laughing because we talked to Lee Tissett, who says, you know what's really funny about that? I drive a Mitsubishi Mirage back at home.
Yeah,
so the Invisible Man drives a Mirage.
His crew got a lot of mileage out of that during the week.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes.
Well, Murphy's going to wish that was a Mirage to the inside. Looks like Tissett's got a pretty good run to the inside. Back up front, though, Steve Christian continues to hound Brian Vickers. Vickers is only 6th in the Northern Series points, but right now he's the man up front.
Brian Vickers in the Stewart Components number 42 brings his Northern Division car down here, qualifies it on the poles. We mentioned 16 of the previous 28 times he ran a Hooters Pro Cup race. He qualified in the top 3, but the first time he started from the number 1 spot. John Curley in the Catawba Valley Community College, CVCC it says right there on the rear of the car, and he's on the outside having a nice little tussle with the 10 of Mario Gosselin, Super Mario, who's been once again early in the season kind of so-so Mario thus far.
It's like Steve Christian has got a good run on the bottom side of the racetrack. Kind of early to get too racy up front. As I said, this track is abrasive on tires, not nearly as abrasive as the Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola earlier this year, but nonetheless, you need to really manage those tires to have something to race with later in the event. Christian's going to take the spot from Vickers. Vickers will drop in second. Clemens runs third, and Jay Fogelman right there. The top four broken away. He runs in fourth.
So a lead change, and forgive us for not kind of ranting about it, because as Gene Crane has pointed out, there's a lot of racing yet to do here at Peach State Speedway, and the track is going to have something to say about who wins this event. Should make a note, though, the guy that seems to pretty much have the fastest car on the track right now is our new invisible man so far this evening, and that's the 84 Johnsonville Bratwurst car of Shane Huffman. You can't see him, but he is definitely making some hay back there deep in the field. Starting from his 13th position, he's moving on up.
He's got a good run right now, but as the night goes on, the groove is going to move up. Everybody's running on the bottom of the track. Even the outside line you see later in the evening, that will be considered a low line. They're going to be up near the wall. Some cars very, very close to nailing the wall. And problems for Martin Nesbitt.
Martin Nesbitt, a big puff of smoke a while ago. And so for the Blue Cross Blue Shield GlaxoSmithKline entry, they need a health care program for that car right now, it seems. And he's headed down to the pits to find out what's wrong with it.
Had a problem at Coastal Plain with an oil pump actually spitting some internal parts out the side of it, from what we understand from the last race. Looks like it may be a residual problem here tonight.
Martin Nesbitt rolling slowly, and no flag from the officials as he is well off the racing line and out of the way of competition right now. You can see the top half dozen cars coming by there in order behind Stephen Christian from nearby Buford, Georgia, who has a lot of laps here at Peach State Speedway. And even though this place is somewhat schizophrenic in its nature, it does help to have experience at Peach State.
Jimmy McLean putting together a pretty good run so far this evening. McLean, a former champion at Concord Motorsports Park, where we will go later in the year. He's had a tough time in the Pro Cup Series, but he's put together a good night so far tonight here at Peach State.
McLean from Iron Station, North Carolina, the Team Chevrolet entry. We're talking about the number 3 car. While we're watching the leader, and now Martin Nesbitt down on pit road, left rear of the car up in the air. And some definite problem going on there with the number 30 of Martin Nesbitt. Brian Vickers, the pole sitter and former leader, dropping into second position there and just riding. And Jay Fogelman driving third in the Cooper family Ford. David Sadowski down there is hustled to the other end of pit road with Mark Nesbitt.
Mark, what happened? Rear end gear?
I think a rear end gear came out of it. I don't know. I hate it. You know, we just had some bad luck the last couple of weeks. I want to thank GlaxoSmithKline and Blue Cross for sticking with us. We got a fast car. We were fast in practice, and it just wouldn't qualify good, and we didn't know what happened. I guess we just found out what happened. Evidently, a rear end came out of it. But we'll get them next week. Thanks.
There's the analysis on the problem, Gene, of Martin Nesbitt, and along with the 84 car, who's somewhat in the distance, we got another guy moving on up here. While we go way deep in the field, the 08 of John Kinder is involved in a battle there. The Multimedia Graphics and Production Chevrolet, and we got a problem out on the racetrack. Another caution flag is going to fly, and this time the offending party, shall we say, is going to be R.D. Smith in the Hot Rod Magazine, number 179. He gets the car going again without a whole lot of obvious damage. Take a look at what happened. Got some help.
Contact, yeah, hard contact there out of 2. Around goes Smith.
I think that's the 78 of Browder that was kind of racing along with him there. Stephen Christian holding his hand up to warn the drivers behind him that there's trouble ahead. He is the race leader right now. We've got another pause for the cause.
You want a sticker, sweetie? Hi, welcome to the Jackaroo Sauces 250 on Speed Vision.
The Hooters girls doing their job for the crowd as they come in. Our next race date is going to be round 3 for the Northern Division at Louisville Motor Speedway in Louisville, Kentucky. So we want you to join us there, and then of course join Rick Benjamin and Scott Sutherland and Stephen Cox here on Speed Vision for all the coverage of that event. So under caution here, Gene Crane, the second one of the evening, but not for long as the lights are out on the pace car. We're getting set to go.
And it looks like the field is going to come up through the gearbox, and Steve Christian, Chevrolet, leads them across start finish. Chevrolet is seeing a bit of a resurgence here. Christian electing to go with the Chevrolet here this evening. They had been running Fords throughout the earlier part of the season.
Still the debate raging on pit road about whether the Fords or the Chevys have an advantage. You're going to find about as many people on each side of that issue as you would care to talk to. Jason Sarvis having a nice clean run in that number 92. And Stephen Christian, our race leader, with clean track in front of him now. After the caution, it's going to be some time before he gets into traffic. You're just seeing the tail end of the field way off in the distance over the dash of the Lucas Oil Products number 16.
Stephen able to keep that car down on the bottom. That's the fast way around, but later on, as the track gets greasier, he's going to have to move up. Brian Vickers already, his car not able to stick to the bottom. He's about midway up the banking through the corners over in 1 and 2. He'll do the same here in 3 and 4. Leaves the door open for Jay Fogelman, and Bobby Gill is right there. He's gotten by Bill Clemens Jr. He's in striking distance, running 4th.
The door is definitely open for Fogelman, but Vickers continues to get pretty good bite. We've got another caution coming out right now. The 38 car up against the wall over in turn number 4. And that is Kevin Sasser, Sasser Motorsports Ford.
Brian, that started way back in turn 3. He saved this car almost 3 times before it finally went around. If he made any contact to the wall, it was ever so slight. This is the last, should be the last portion of it. He's still trying to hang on to it. And here we go.
Round and round she goes. Where it stops, well, we know. And a few of the cars are coming down pit road. John Kinder brings the 08 to the attention of his crew, and they're making a tire pressure adjustment there on the right front of the car. So things are changing, and that's because the track is too. We'll be right back to Peach State. Welcome back to the Jackaroo Sauces 250, presented by Ingles at Peach State Speedway in Georgia. Brian Dreber, Gene Crane, and David Sadowski joining you for all the action here. Hope your heart rate's back down into double digits, along with ours. That last caution was a little bit fun, as the 38 car of Kevin Sasser almost collected a couple other guys, but some great driving, particularly by the 21 there of Derek Kelly, the discount auto parts driver, doing a good job staying out of trouble, Gene.
Sasser lost a lap as a result of that spin, so he'll start to the inside. He's the only car a lap down on the speedway right now.
43 laps into the 250 scheduled for tonight. And there is Lee Tissot in the 55, beating and banging back and forth. Some kind of a problem, it seems, maybe for Stephen Christian. Awfully slow and pedaling back through the field. Something's definitely going on with the 16 car. Vickers recaptures the lead.
Brian, the way the 16 car bobbled out of turn 2, it looked like the rear end broke. Looked like maybe only one wheel was pulling. Car wanted to jerk sideways. Steve Christian did a good job of keeping that car straight and not turning it around in front of the field.
Brian Vickers with Fogelman pushing on the lap car of Sasser there. Vickers is getting a little bit of a gap, and here comes Bobby Gill up on the outside, sensing clear track, while troubles continue for Stephen Christian. He's in a revolving door now, and everybody's giving him a spin.
They've had a tough time. Steve Christian, for the past 2 years, has been Mr. Consistency. He has completed nearly every single lap for the past 2 years, save but maybe 2 or 3, and this year it has not gone their way. The driver from nearby Sugar Hill, Georgia, having some problems, but up front it's Brian Vickers having no problem handling the field. And when you've got Bobby Gill running in the top 5 with less than 50 laps complete, look out. It's going to be an exciting night up front.
And riding on the wall for Christian as he takes it down behind pit wall. Meanwhile, Fogelman has been taken by Bobby Gill. The crew is having a look there at the 16 car of Christian, and it's not moving with a lot of authority. He gets the right rear tire spinning, but they're giving him the go paddle, and he's going to try to get back out there, but clearly something is not quite right with that car.
He's broken an axle or sheared a drive plate on that left side.
While we watch racing on the track there, Jason Sarvis in the Bryant Heating and Cooling Chevrolet. Let's go down to David Sadowski with a little bit more on Stephen Christian's situation.
Brian, word from the crew here is that the axle broke on the number 16 car, so he's probably driving a one-wheeler right now, but these guys got some major repairs planned. They're doing it behind the wall.
So they sent him back out while they get ready, Gene, seems to be the issue.
They're going to have to work in a hurry to try to save their position in the point standings.
Meanwhile, Brian Vickers knows a little something about getting around this place.
You got to take your time. It's a great racetrack. John Huffman, he's done a lot with his place. He picks it up. You know, he's got a great place, but it's got a lot of character to it. It's rough on tires, and last year what won us the race here was just taking care of them, just riding. Man, there for a while, the guy that was leading there for a while, he was a half a track ahead of us. You know, just burning the stuff up, but we saved our stuff and we came out on top at the end.
Was what Brian Vickers obviously has learned a little something, and well, he's way out in front right now, but I don't think he's burning anything up on that number 42 car.
He is trying to conserve those tires, but he knows that he's got a couple of hard chargers right behind him. He was referring to Chad Chaffett.
Problems for Bowser. Saw a puff of smoke. He's gotten out of the gas, but he's heading down pit road right now, so there very definitely could be an issue under the hood of the Perk chassis number 58 of Jeremy Bowser.
We saw Bowser scrub the wall early on this evening out of turn number 4. Could be a problem from that contact with the outside retaining wall. Back to Vickers just for a moment. He was referring to Chad Chaffett when Chad came out and was waxing the field. Then in a span of about 30 laps, it was all Chad could do to stay on the lead lap. The tires went away that quick. So you've got to really baby those tires. These Goodyear Eagles, they're good race tires, but you can't abuse them on this rough surface.
Our Goodyear full field rundown showing only 2 cars victims of attrition here tonight. The second time that 58 has been rubbing on the wall. Very impressed with the effort so far of Jason Sarvis, rookie driver out of Myrtle Beach, and that Brian Heating and Cooling, former Stacy Puryear Black's tire number 92. He's really found himself a nice big empty spot on the racetrack, taking a page out of Bobby Gill's book. I said, Bobby drives the track like I drive the freeway. And just as I say that, well, of course, Bill Clements Jr. is going to, he doesn't feel like he's racing unless he's popping you on the door with his fenders.
Well, even though Bill Clements Jr. is considered a northern driver, this is really his home track. He's a 2-time super late model champion back in 1994 and 1995 right here at the Peach State Speedway, so he definitely knows his way around.
I'm also impressed with Bill Clements Jr. this season because in the past, we never could have used the word patience in the same sentence with Bill Clements Jr.'s name, but this year Clements has found a way to be a little more patient and has been rewarded with his first ever Hooters Pro Cup victory. While Bill Clements continues to race, the crew on the 58 car is working. Dan Aho is making notes for his upcoming book, and David Sadowski is down there.
Jeremy, what happened out there?
Oh, lap car's in the way as usual. I drove all the way to the outside of him. The car wouldn't work on the bottom. I drove all the way to the outside of him. He just stuck me on the fence.
Are you going to get back out?
I don't know. We're not running for points or nothing. So we might go back out and ride around. I don't know.
Jeremy Bowser obviously disgruntled at the turn of events for himself, while Bobby Gill, a familiar adversary for young Brian Vickers. Those two raced door to door, wheel to wheel, and stood in victory lane together more than a few times last year, and they're at it again. The racing continues here under the green flag at Peach State Speedway.
Hi, I'm Holly.
And I'm Laura. Don't you dare go away.
There's more Hooters Pro Cup racing coming right at ya.
Woo! You made it back just in time for more Hooters Pro Cup racing on Speed Vision.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Gene, as Bobby Gill out there in the number 5 car taking the 0-2 of Ralph Carnes down a lap. Well, that was a little bit premature. There's the number 11 with Stacy Puryear behind the wheel, the Naturally Fresh Foods car that was vacated by Jason Sarvis. And Puryear's working his way through the field.
Got a couple of rookies right ahead now alongside Daniel Johnson, who leads the rookie battle, and Danny Sammons. And that Ford number 39 directly ahead of Puryear, and there just ahead of Sammons is Derek Kelly.
Derek Kelly leads a pack battling for 15th position. Downstairs, David Sadowski one more time.
Man, nearly every car that's come into pits here tonight, guys, has got marks all over it. Mario Gosselin, our championship points chaser here, with a big donut on the right side. The guy's going underneath the hood right now, but he's in his pit stall, all kitty cornered here. Looks like the guys are working somewhere around the radiator. Kind of mystified as to what's going on right now, but a rash of problems. The 58 is Jeremy Bowser. He's going to go over the wall too. The 58 car, Jeremy Bowser in. He's going to take it out back for major repairs, but we'll see what's going on with Mario Gosselin here. The guys are using a cooler back over here on the Mario Gosselin car. They're using a cooler to cool down the radiator. Obviously, Mario Gosselin, again, having engine problems here at Peach State. Had lost a crankshaft out of Coastal Plains Speedway, but they're doing everything they can to cool down. Looks like the radiator fan, guys. Back up to you.
Well, I saw that big white thing go over the wall and then behind the hood. I couldn't figure out what it was. Now, of course, we can see that it is the big cooler that they keep their drinks in. Bobby Gill out in front. And Mario Gosselin, I mentioned Super Mario because he is the winningest driver in Hooters Pro Cup history. And then I said, but he's been so-so Mario again this season as he was early last year. He has started first, second, or third in the first 4 races of the season, but his best finish, a 4th at St. Augustine. Other than that, 29th at Ace, 9th at Coastal Plains when he started 20th. It has not been a typical Mario Gosselin kind of season, and it appears as though it continues here tonight, Gene. While we're still looking at this battle here behind Derek Kelly.
Well, Derek Kelly certainly is glad the battle is behind him and not in front of him. Bobby Gill has run down some of the traffic. Tom Pistoni's Bully Hill Vineyards Ford about to go a lap down to the race leader, Bobby Gill. And Gill moves up alongside, puts a fender on the 19 of Pistoni. Pistoni moves up the racetrack and it opened the door up for Brian Vickers. So Vickers trying to thread his way through that traffic along with Bobby Gill.
Just before Mario Gosselin pitted under green, and we talked, David specifically, Sadowski talked about turn 4 at the top of the show. Bobby Gill made a 3-wide pass around the outside in turn 4, and I was holding my breath, but he made it. And that was part of what has taken him to the front now, in front of Brian Vickers, the pole sitter and former leader. Back a little bit deeper in the field, 3rd and 4th, and that's Jay Fogelman and Bill Clemens Jr.
And getting by them is the 84 Shane Huffman, who went to victory lane for the first time 2 weeks ago at Coastal Plains Speedway. He's bypassing the 97 of Marty Ward. Marty Ward having a tough time here tonight at a track that is normally his favorite place to come racing in the Hooters Pro Cup Series.
Lee Tissett alongside Hal Goodson in the Taylor Motorsports Carlin Financial number 45. The damage on the front end of Tissett's car, he made a little bit of incidental contact with Goodson's teammate Scott Hall in that first caution incident. And now he's racing with the twin car, if you will, the 45. Take a look at the Naturally Fresh Mountain Spring Water leaderboard. Have you ever seen such good-looking guys here? Lee Tissett, the invisible man, we pointed him out. And how about Shane Huffman, who we said had been invisible? You're going to start seeing a lot more of him now as he's made it up from 13th to 3rd on the racetrack. There are Tissett and Hal Goodson still side by side, and 2 grooves have opened up here at Peach State already.
Brian, those 2 cars have been glued together nearly all race long. You're going to have to work through some of this traffic. More and more, you're starting to see that groove move up. They're moving up to about the 3rd groove here at Peach State Speedway, and we'll see some of these drivers going wall to wall, if you will, to try to get their cars to turn. You see Jay Fogelman's car that time off of turn 4, having a little problem getting forward bite when he lays the foot down on the throttle. The rear tires don't want to grip. He's got to ease onto that throttle, not burn up that right rear.
Well, everybody talked about the egg in between your foot and the throttle pedal coming out here, trying to make sure you don't get on the gas too hard, use up the tires. Clemens inside on Fogelman. These 2 having a nice spirited little battle there, and now Bill Clemens Jr. getting the best of it. So 2 very definitely different racing grooves opening up here at Peach State, and the guys are starting to use them both.
Using all the racetrack they can. Clemens' car had just a slight bit of wiggle that time out of turn 2, just gently bringing that throttle up. It's amazing what a win can do for a team. Clemens is driving with style.
There's Shane Huffman in the Johnsonville Bratwurst number 84, and we keep referring to invisible men. We haven't seen much of Huffman so far, and there he is, looking good. David Sadowski with the crew chief of the 84.
Ronnie, you're looking good, working your way up. Yeah, we're running really good right now. Shane's got up there on the high side, and he really likes it. Hopefully we can keep on going. Got to give a word on the 84 crew to Coleman Dollarhide. He's at home this weekend. He's a rear tire changer. His wife, Christy, had a baby boy. Carson Ray, 6 pounds, 13 ounces. Hey, everything's going good for this team.
Congratulations to the new dad, and word up, Shane Huffman doing the job out there right now. In 3rd spot, the leaders better watch out. He's on his way. Jefferson, Georgia's Peach State Speedway is alive and roaring here tonight with leader Bobby Gill out in front and Brian Vickers in the number 42 car chasing hard. There's Bobby Gill, the 2-time and defending champion. Triple Diamond Enterprises on the hood of his race car after it was a sponsor-needed situation for a while. Bobby Gill is the quintessential short track stock car driver, a guy whose virtually entire life revolves around what he does here on this racing surface behind the wheel of his race car. But this is a guy that has set the standard for so long in Hooters Pro Cup racing, and as I put it many, many times, what a favor he's done for everybody else. They know how good they have to be.
They know how good they have to be, and it has really improved the level of competition, not just up front, but throughout the field at the Hooters Pro Cup Series races. A lot of these teams stepping up and going to school on the way that Bobby Gill and his whole crew approach a race.
They approach it with the same kind of seriousness that you would expect from competitors. They come away with wins more often than not, and when they can't win, they know they just go out there to do as best they can, collect as many points as they can. That's how championships are won. We're watching lots of battles here in the racetrack, and one of them right now revolving around the Catawba Valley Community College number 44, John Curley, who was down a lap to the 2 leaders, but reluctant to give up his lap to third place Shane Huffman in that bright yellow Johnsonville Broadwurst number 84.
It's like Huffman's going to have to go downstairs and is able to make that car bite pretty good on the bottom of the racetrack. He's closing in on Brian Vickers, who had his second win in his rookie season last year right here at Peach State Speedway.
Whoa, and it looks like Huffman's going to get the spot as Vickers is up on the high line that Huffman used to get where he is now. And all this racing is benefiting none other than Bobby Gill, who is out in front. Huffman dives down low on the inside, but Vickers with that great forward bite coming off the corner is almost able to match him, but Huffman gets the spot. So that is second place from 13th for Shane Huffman, and from first to third now for Brian Vickers.
Pretty good call right there on the part of the crew. No sense racing too much. We're still just a little bit shy of the halfway point. We've still got a long way to go. Don't tear your race car up till it gets down to the money lap.
Shane Huffman opening up a car length on Brian Vickers in pursuit of leader Bobby Gill. He's got the length of a straightaway in order to catch the leader, but he has been consistently a tenth or so faster until he gets balked up in traffic. Shane Huffman has had an unobstructed run to the front from his number 13 start position.
Well, that's kind of the way to make sure you have a car left at the end of the race, is to not make a spectacle of yourself coming through the field. Most of the time when you come charging through the field in a hapless manner like that, you don't have a race car to race with at the end. Huffman's car looks in pretty good shape. Vickers, his car is in decent shape. Of course, he had the advantage of starting on the pole.
Our Goodyear full field rundown at 100 laps. The top 5 end with Jay Fogelman and start with Bobby Gill. Hal Goodson and Mike Laughlin Jr. are the bookends on the next 5. Lee Tissett has parked himself in 8th position. Daniel Johnson, your rookie points leader. Again, the rookie title won't be given out until the 4 Champions Challenge Series at the end of the year, but all these rookie drivers want to be in contention for that honor come season's end. And Jabe Jones in the 09 car running in 21st position. He has come up from the back of the field, started 35th, I believe, or started in the back. And the rest of the field, very little attrition at this point. Right now, Jeremy Bowser, Martin Esmond, and Scott Hall, the only ones who are out of the race. Mario Gosselin, Curtis Davis, and even Stephen Christian have been able to get back in. This week's driver feature, number 23, Toby Robertson, son of the famous T. Wayne Robertson, a name synonymous with Winston Cup.
If ever a racer was born into the sport, it was Toby Robertson.
I just always been in my blood. I've been going to racetracks. I went to Daytona for the first time when I was about 4 years old, so I just haven't had much choice but to race. I don't really know anything else.
With the legacy of his father, the master of motorsport marketing, T. Wayne Robertson, Toby grew up around the tracks.
My father was probably the most instrumental person in everything I do, even beyond the racing. I mean, everything I do, I try to emulate his positive attitude and the way that he conducted himself. I mean, you're hard-pressed to find anybody that didn't like him. I've never found anybody that had a bad thing to say about my father. Growing up in the NASCAR garage areas was a lot of fun. Darrell Waltrip and I became real good friends. I kept telling him I want to be a race car driver, I want to be a race car driver. And every time I see Darrell, I give him a big hug, and we start talking about, when he was running for junior or things of that nature. And Junior Johnson, I talk to him on a regular basis. He's a good friend of mine. The Petty family, Richard, Linda, Adam, was a real good friend of mine, and we sure do miss him. It's a very tight family. I don't think you find it anywhere except for in auto racing.
Success at the short tracks near his home just fueled his passion.
Started at Hickory Motor Speedway, ran the limited sportsman division the first year. Second year we won limited sportsman, won the championship. Then we started running late model stock cars, and within 3 or 4 years we won a championship in late model stock car up at Tri-County, North Carolina.
Still early in the 2001 campaign, Toby has seen his share of bad breaks. By race 5, the team's hard work had paid off with their first pole position.
I'd never seen Coastal Plains Speedway. We went down there and sat on the pole. I think it helped us. It showed that we were a good race team that could figure out the situation, work with it, make the car better, and then go forward. We're a great race team. I've got a heart and soul team behind me, and I think we'll be successful if we just can find some funding.
Where does Toby Robertson go from here?
I want to race as long as the good Lord will let me, and I don't see me going anywhere. I think I'll be in a race car of some kind for as long as I can walk.
Hey guys, come down here and join us for the race. We have everything you need.
Stay tuned for more of the Jackaroo Sauces 250.
The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And by naturally fresh dressings. It's not just our name, it's our promise. And by the Fairfield Inn, a Marriott property. Bobby Gill out in front has just put Mike Laughlin Jr. a lap down in the Holloman Heating and Air Carolina kit car number 7. He's got a pair of wins in the 2001 season, and he's working on Mario Gosselin's all-time Hooters Pro Cup win record. Right now, he's just working on getting another win here at Peach State Speedway, and skis with his crew chief.
Dudes, is the track coming to you or what? Well, track was real tricky all afternoon, so I can't really say it's coming to our setup. Obviously, we're pretty good right now. He doesn't appear to be running it too hard, and I just hope we're this good like on lap 250.
David Sadowski and Steve Delizhnevsky have bonded over the course of the season already. They got a lot in common, a competitive intensity. They're both originally from up in New England. They got a great sense of fun. They both love hockey, and of course they have names that end in SKI. So these guys are going to get along just fine in the Hooters Pro Cup season. The Dews and Ski. Jay Fogelman down on the inside just about the same time that Shane Huffman passed Brian Vickers behind Bobby Gill. The 15 and the 8 car switch spots there. Bill Clements Jr. and Jay Fogelman, who had been having a nice little battle, and now Vickers is all tied up in traffic. And there's Hal Goodson, who's running in 5th spot. Stephen Christian has come back out onto the racetrack. We know his car is fast, but he is laps down. Listening to him pick up on the throttle, and look at the 3 wide traffic in front of him. Here's the tough part of the racetrack that Ski talked about at the top of the show. Nice banking in the middle of the corner and then into the sun and on a track that narrows down on you.
You can see up on the outside the 55 of Lee Tissett. Tissett, along with Goodson, have remained together since the drop of the green flag earlier this evening. Looking at Bobby Gill directly ahead of the Sarvis number 92, the Bryant Heating and Cooling Chevrolet. Your leader Gill has put the 92 a lap down. A lot of good cars going a lap down with Bobby Gill starting to tear through the field.
And a long green flag run is what's helping him do it right now, as we had some cautions early and quick, but we have had a good 70 laps or more now of green flag racing. You can see that the field is pretty spread out here and there, but on other opportunities and occasions, there's a lot of tight, bunched up racing. A glimpse at Brian Vickers as he goes by just in front of Toby Robertson's number 23. TWR Motorsports Chevrolet, featured just a few moments ago. And they were using way up on the high side while Bill Clemens Jr. still trying to make the Hooters Restaurants number 15 work on the low line going in. Shane Huffman running in 2nd position is making up racetrack on leader Bobby Gill. He's behind Mike Laughlin Jr. You saw Gill with Laughlin just a few moments ago. And now Shane Huffman trying to put the 7 Holloman Heating and Air car down a lap.
Huffman's got enough tire to be able to, whoa!
Oh, big problem, and that's the 78 of Neil Browder. Whoa, man, the EPA is going to be getting this on their radar screen. Look at all the smoke that Browder's putting up down there in the turn 4 area. Gill barely got stopped. Huffman's actually racing alongside him there, and they're both laying rubber trying to get going again after that incident. It doesn't actually look like anybody hit anything. Amazing. And Bobby Gill hustling around the track there. Now he's slowed down, becomes our halfway leader in a cloud of smoke. The Lucas Oil Products Halfway Leader Award prize goes to the two-time series champion, Bobby Gill. So after leading 66 laps, he leads one that counts for a $1,000 prize. Shane Huffman is right behind him now in the number 2 spot in the Johnsonville Bratwurst number 84. So what Huffman was working on doing out there on the racetrack under green has been handed to him under caution. He's going to be right behind Gill on the restart. We got to keep in mind, too, there's another look at Browder. Look at this.
Looks like he won the race, actually. He's trying to keep the car off the wall.
And then everybody scatters.
And there's a group of cars already in that smoke cloud that you can't see. More coming in.
Yeah, watch them come through. We cut away from it there, but Bobby Gill, Shane Huffman came through a cloud of smoke there, a lap away from the halfway prize. And now we're at a point where an opportune caution is going to get these guys down onto pit road, no doubt about it.
Crews are going to earn their money now as it is time to refuel and reshop these cars and send them out for the second half.
Split screen, watching Bobby Gill, top of the screen, right behind him, Shane Huffman. They're going to split up just a little bit because their pit stalls are somewhat far apart. So David Sadowski has rolled up his sleeves and he's ready to go to work on pit road.
Bobby Gill pulls it down on the stop. Little overshoot. Dude's going up on the right side. Going to be a typical 4-tire stop. But this is a race in the pits as Brian Vickers comes in ahead. Tires flying everywhere. Bill Clemens Jr. just behind Bobby Gill. They are going for the left side tires on Bobby Gill's car.
Interesting there that the left side tire changer takes the lug nuts loose on the front, then goes back to the back. Dews brings the jack around the other side. They get the left side up with both wheels loose, and Shane Huffman's guys have really done the business on pit road. They come out, they go in second, come out first. Vickers is going to get out ahead of Bobby Gill too. So Gill goes from the lead to third, and the top 3 have shuffled in the pits. Great work by a couple of the crews, and a so-so stop by Dews and the guys.
Bobby Gill had to back up as Jay Fogelman's number 8 was directly ahead, and another car having problems way down at the head of pit road. Randy Porter, who had been in the top 10 all night long on his first outing in quite some time with the Pro Cup Series. That car is not restarting.
Yep, there's the 32 being pushed back out onto the racetrack. They're trying to get it fired. And meanwhile, some of the other crews are going to work. The Discount Auto Parts crew, number 21, Derek Kelly. And look at all the activity on pit road. Some of the guys are watching it after they're already done. Follow along in your notebooks, boys and girls, as we take you through the Lucas Oil Products halfway recap of this race. At the start, it was Brian Vickers and his Stewart Components number 42 from the pole, jumping along with Stephen Christian out into the lead. On the second lap, Curtis Davis with a little nudge there from Dale Murphy goes into the wall and collects the 54 of Scott Hall in dramatic fashion. On the 43rd lap of the race, Stephen Christian's Lucas Oil Products number 16 began experiencing differential problems that they had to repair and put him back in. Bobby Gill takes the lead from Vickers on lap number 60 and then avoids a number 78 spin there as Neil Browder's car put up a cloud of smoke. Gill went on from that point a lap later to collect the halfway prize, and he went into the pits first, came out third as we get set to go back to green. Gene Crane, what a great job by Shane Huffman's Johnsonville Bratwurst crew down on pit road.
That crew did a fantastic job getting 4 tires, 4 Goodyear Eagles on that number 84, filling it up with a fresh load of Sunoco race fuel to make a run to the checkers. Everybody can make it from here without a pit stop. Looks like Huffman is able to jump out at a pretty good advantage right now. About 6 car lengths as they work off in turn 2, but Bobby Gill has got his hands full with Brian Vickers.
Makes the move on the inside and takes the spot away. Going to be very interested to see how Shane Huffman holds up under an attack by Bobby Gill. Gill was running out front while Huffman was pedaling through the field. Stephen Christian on board the Lucas Oil Products number 16 as he is getting passed by a couple of cars there and trying to find the grip with his new tires after the pit stops. Up on the high side, it's Purrier in the 11 Naturally Fresh car.
Right ahead of Purrier, the 2 drivers that swapped cars coming in. Oh, man.
Purrier bouncing the chassis off the apron there.
Yeah, that was Jason Sarvis in the 92, just ahead of Purrier.
Those are the cars that they switched They not only switched cars, but we understand they switched houses too.
That's exactly right. The shop over there at the 92 car it has an apartment directly above the shop. That's where Purrier was living. So Purrier moved out. Jason Sarvis moved in. Crazy game, this racing game here in the 2001 season, the Hooters Pro Cup Series. We'll see what other development happens throughout the rest of the season, but it's been interesting so far.
We're on board with Jason Sarvis in that Black's Tire Bryant Heating and Cooling number 92 that started in 8th position.
Brian, notice how new tires are letting these drivers move back to the bottom of the racetrack. These tires will heat up, they'll get a little bit slick, and as we grade off more of the rubber on those tires, we're going to see the groove move right back up to the 3rd line and maybe even a 4th line as the night progresses.
Lee Tissett going for another top 5 finish here as he is in 5th right now. Ronnie Davidson in the CNT Classic entry slowing down on the apron of the racetrack. There's your leader, Shane Huffman, in the Johnsonville Bratwurst number 84, and he has answered part of the question about how he's going to do here at the racetrack. We talked to him earlier in the day about what it would take to win and just how you get around Peach State.
Yeah, the track probably is going to change a little bit here. Hopefully it's going to tighten up a little bit later on this evening, and you know, we seem to be a touch loose off the corners, so if it does tighten up, we're going to be okay, I think.
Just after he said, I think, I said, are you confident with that answer? Because this place has been known to change in every way a track can change possible. And so Shane Huffman kind of winked and said, we're just going to roll the dice and take our best guess. But it looks like they came up a winner here so far with the way that car is working.
Still got over 100 laps to get to the checkers, and a lot can happen in that time frame. It's like Brian Vickers and Jason Sarvis together there for just a little bit. Directly ahead of Vickers is the 55 of Lee Tissett. And it's really no surprise here in 2001 that that team is running as well as it has. In the years past, Gary Lambert's own cars have had 3 championships with drivers such as Dennis Setzer back in 1994, a pair of championships. Dexter Knipe over in the Winston Racing Series national champion back in 97. They know how to get a car around, and this year, 2 top 5s, 4 top 10s coming into tonight's race.
Got a glimpse of Derek Kelly there running an 11th spot, up from 29th on the start, so certainly a candidate for the W.J. Flemons Hard Charger Award so far. But again, as you pointed out, a lot of laps left to race. Bobby Gill is trying and not really succeeding to gain ground on Shane Huffman. So Huffman's guess as to which way the track was going to go seems to have worked out. Bobby Gill, even with fresh tires, is definitely finding a little more creative line around the racetrack while Huffman is on a rail.
Well, he's not abusing the tires. Now let's go back 2 races to Five Flag Speedway. Actually, let's go back 3 races to Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola. Bobby Gill was awesome on a track that really chewed up tires. He's smart. He knows how to take care of those tires. He may have a plan for later in the event.
Randy Porter in 10th position in spite of his problems on pit road as our Goodyear full field rundown scrolls before your eyes. Del Murphy, who started on the outside of the front row in the Jackaroo Meat Sauces number 22, is all the way back in 16th. Jabe Jones continues to hold on to the number 21 spot after starting deep in the field. Some problems for John Kinder there in the 08, and there you can see that Jimmy McLean has succumbed to mechanical problems, as has Tom Pistone, relatively new development in the race, adding their names to the list of attrition at the bottom of the standings right now, which of course began with Scott Hall's accident there just a couple of laps into the race. There's Del Murphy in the Jackaroo Sauces number 22. Started, as we said, from the outside of the front row and has struggled since. Seems like with a new set of tires and maybe a couple of adjustments, he's got the car working very well right now as he comes up behind the 44 of John Curley, the Catawba Valley Community College car there. On board with Del Murphy in the Jackaroo Meat Sauces number 22. Murphy, starting on the front row in this race, was probably looking for a first win here at Peach State Speedway. But so far, things have not gone in that direction.
Of course, there are a lot of legendary drivers that have gone to victory lane, including among them Cale Yarborough and Bobby Isaac, have won races right here at Peach State Speedway.
Marty Ward in the 97 car running along with leader Shane Huffman. And David Sadowski's with the crew chief on the 84, Ronnie White.
Ronnie, what's he saying to you now?
That's that thing. Body's tethered, man. Body's real good. Shane's doing a real good job at Johnsonville car. We didn't qualify as good as we wanted to, but I think we'll take the front. But now I don't know if we can hold Bobby out. He's a bear.
Gotta admire the way Ronnie can watch the race, think about what he's doing, and talk to ski at the same time. You didn't get an idea that any of those three things had the slightest bit of connection to one another for a moment there, did you, watch Ronnie?
Not at all, but you know, Ronnie had the advantage. No news is good news. And it looks like that Huffman has got it under control.
Bobby Gill is close behind him, but so far that's all that's happened.
We think you should stay tuned to the Hooters Pro Cup Series
on Speed Vision.
Welcome back to Peach State Speedway for the Jackaroo Sauces 250 presented by Ingalls. And Shane Huffman putting our hurting on the field right now in the Johnsonville Bratwurst number 84 with Bobby Gill right behind. That having been said, we're going to take a little pause from the action for this week's Tech Tip. Chief Craig Clark and the track safety crew. There are a lot of reasons to go Hooters Pro Cup racing. It's an affordable series. There is great competition and a lot of prize money available to the winners at the end of the year. But you know what? It's also one of the safest in motorsports, and that's because Chief Craig Clark and his guys make it that way.
How you doing, Brian?
You're doing great.
We travel with the series, and we're primarily responsible for the safety at the events, fire suppression, rescue, and extrication if necessary, as well as assist with the medical on the drivers.
Well, one of the things that makes you guys unique is that we see you personally and your guys at every Hooters Pro Cup race.
That's correct. We're one of the only traveling safety teams for a stock car series in the United States, and we work various other events as far as road race courses and drag strip events and other stock car series.
But I also see your name on the internet. You're the same Craig Clark that writes for Karnak and some other websites, right?
Yes, that's correct. I write safety articles, safety editor for Karnak.com, as well as our website, trackrescue.com, which is responsible for promoting motorsport safety. And there's not a lot out there, so we try and keep everyone informed with pictures and articles.
Well, we know that you do a great job, and I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. We want these guys to be professionally bored tonight and just fans like the rest of us. How about it?
I can guarantee you each and every crew member in that pit area is feeling a lot safer knowing that track rescue is at each and every event and that their driver as well as themselves are in capable hands should anything happen. We certainly hope that nothing does happen, but if it should happen, we've got the people in place to make sure everything is A-OK.
Well, the deal I made with Chief Clark at the top of the show there, or before the race ever started, has kind of come to pass. I mean, those guys had a few tense moments there on the second lap of the race, and since then it's been almost all green flag racing. Bobby Gill comes inside on Shane Huffman, and I don't think there was any contact. Well, we're not sure, but in any case, now they've separated by a good racing groove or two, but we've got some battling going on up front for the lead in traffic as Huffman once again comes up behind Mike Laughlin Jr.
Two distinct grooves, lap traffic coming into play. Bobby Gill down on the bottom of the track cannot get the forward bite coming up off the corner to make a run at Huffman. He can get downstairs in the middle of the corner, but coming up off the corner, Huffman is able to get the run off the turn, use a little of the banking, and maintain his momentum.
And right there, Bobby Gill actually had the lead in the middle of turns 3 and 4, but could not get the nose of the number 5 car across the line in front of Huffman. So Huffman's got the bite coming off on the high side, while Bobby Gill is able to make the car turn down on the bottom. He just can't get it on the gas early enough to really accelerate off the corner. He's got Huffman kind of balked up behind Laughlin Jr. right now. Can he take advantage of traffic? Not yet.
Huffman continues to look at the back of the 7 car and thought about going 3 wide. Bobby Gill, probably a wise move. He's going to ease it a little bit on the tires, try to cool those tires. He's still got a long way to go to the checkers. He'll go behind Shane Huffman as they work on Mike Laughlin Jr.
Best racing of the night for the lead. We saw some lead changes early in the race that were done almost with surgical precision. But here you've got Bobby Gill knocking on the door, knocking on the door, knocking on the door, and Huffman is not going to reach for the knob and open it up for him. Oh, rubbing alongside Mike Laughlin Jr. there. Close quarters action by some of the best in short track racing.
This track has certainly changed quite a bit, and everybody having to use the top side of the racetrack narrows the racing group substantially.
Shane Huffman getting his first ever Hooters Pro Cup win at Coastal Plains 2 weeks prior to this one. And, well, he looks like he's in real good position here. Talk about a door open. Once you open the door to victory lane, sometimes you don't have a whole lot of trouble finding it again, do you?
You know, Brian, going into Coastal Plains, Huffman had only led 37 laps in his entire Hooters Pro Cup Series career. He dominated that race, and particularly the last half of that race. Looks like he is poised to try to do the same again tonight as they try to go 3 wide. Del Murphy directly ahead of your leader, as is Chris Gordon and his number 86.
Del Murphy started on the front row, and a turn of fortunes for him to the downside, while we have already documented Shane Huffman's change of fortune from the 2000 season to 2001. He struggled mightily to find the front of the race in 2000, and this year he has been a force from the beginning.
Earlier I asked Shane Huffman about the monkey. I said, hey, looked like you got the monkey off your back. Where did you send it? He says, well, Toby Robertson's crew swears up and down we sent it over to their shop. They've been having some struggles certainly this year, but Huffman, I can guarantee you, he and the entire crew happy that the monkey is off on vacation. They're enjoying a good run up front.
About the only hitch in their program this year was a 33rd start position at St. Augustine, but they were able to turn that into a plus by finishing 9th. So 4th, 9th, 14th, 10th, and a win at Coastal Plains has been the storyline on Shane Huffman and the Johnsonville Bratwurst crew. There's the 00 of Curtis Davis down inside, the edocutech.com 00 involved in that lap 2 incident. And Hal Goodson, whose teammate Scott Hall was taken out of the race in that same incident, is running in 3rd position.
Been a good run for Hal Goodson. Looks like he and Lee Tissett have finally broken away from each other for just a little bit. Lee Tissett.
There is the Goodson pit, and it looks like the Hall brothers have gone over there and put on the uniforms of Taylor Motorsports to help out with the crew of Hal Goodson. So out of the race, but still very much into it for the Hall twins. Bobby Gill running in 2nd position, and David Sadowski is with the crew chief on the 45 car, Colin Ingle.
With Colin Ingle on the Hal Goodson car. How's it going out there now?
Colin Financial car is running pretty good. The 84 car, he's pretty tough right now. I think Gill's hammering pretty hard, and we're a little tight right now. Hopefully as the gas wears off, we'll be all right, but we'll have to wait and see.
What do you got left for tires?
We're all right on tires. We went on to the 4 on that time, but I think we'll be all right. We'll have to wait and see.
Not really divulging whether the tires are going away, holding on, or whatever, as Colin Ingle, well, they're still adjusting tire pressures down on pit road. Welcome back to Peach State Speedway. The Jackaroo Sauces 250 presented by Ingles continues. A look at Brian Vickers, who started from the pole, and he is all the way back into 7th position. We saw those were members of his crew adjusting tire pressures, and I think they would like another shot at getting the setup right on that car.
Absolutely. There's something that Brian is just not getting out of that car right now. So another chance to come down pit road and put the old tires that he started the race on back on that car with a few adjustments to air pressure in the Pro Cup Series. Only 8 tires allotted for the running of 250 laps here at Peach State Speedway.
Jay Fogelman likewise has not really improved his fortunes much since the pit stops. The Cooper family Ford running a pretty solid 6th right now, and kind of lonesome. Not a lot of racing going on around him. Vickers is probably 6 or 7 car lengths behind in the next spot. So Jay Fogelman, who picked up a win this year. There's the invisible man, and we keep pointing him out, and the reason we've called him invisible, if you are just joining us, is because Lee Tissett has very calmly and quietly been doing such a competent job this year, but just always seems to be out of camera range. But tonight he has been finding the camera lenses. He has been noticing when the red lights were on, and in a battle with Bill Clemens Jr. for a while there, had the spotlight firmly on him.
Indeed he did. In fact, he picked up his first win in the Pro Cup Series last year at Hickory.
Our Naturally Fresh Mountain Springwater leaderboard, a nice mix of young faces and veteran drivers. Vickers, Sarvis, and Randy Porter all in the top 10, along with your leader Shane Huffman, who is one of the freshest faces in the series, getting his first win, as we mentioned, and looking for number 2. Both Shane Huffman and Bobby Gill go down inside on John Curley's number 44. Great story for the crew chief on the 44 car. 38-year-old Danny Allen was a guy working in the parts department and part-time on race cars, decided he wanted to go and be a crewman, moved to North Carolina from Florida, and said to himself, the only way I'm going to do it is go enroll in college. So at age 38, the guy goes back to school, learning how to be a crewman from Catawba Valley Community College program.
Looks like they are getting together a pretty good run here tonight. They've had some struggles in previous races, but up front, Bobby Gill continues to dog that 84 car. Bobby Gill's the only driver to go to victory lane twice in the 2001 season. And Shane Huffman would like to do the trick again. It would be 2 in a row if he could do it. But Bobby Gill knows how to race when the big dollars are on the line, and they've got traffic directly ahead.
Some of the best racing we have seen for the lead has been going on here for the last couple of dozen laps. But you know what? There's so much great short track racing going on all over the track that it's hard to really stay with the leaders, because right now Gill has kind of parked himself behind Huffman, and they seem to have agreed to agree, that is, to get through traffic together. You get the feeling, though, if they find clean racetracks, something's going to give.
Katie bar the door. It's going to be action galore, but all through this field, like you said, Brian, a lot of side-by-side action, and that's what the Pro Cup Series...
Oh, we got caution on the racetrack. And that is because John Curley, the aforementioned number 44 Catawba Valley Community College car, has gone for no reason that we could see up into the wall. And apparently, as you say, it's because the right rear tire is down. Not sure if that is a result of or the cause of the incident. But in any case, we are under caution here. Vickers might get a chance, should the crew decide to take him down to pit road, to change the tires. Our next TV date, the Naturally Fresh Dressings 250 from Louisville, right here on Speed Vision, Thursday night at 9 o'clock. The Jackaroo Sauces 250, presented by Ingalls. Round 8 of the Hooters Pro Cup 2001 season, round 6 for the Southern Division. We are enjoying a beautiful evening for racing here in North Georgia, about an hour north of Atlanta, and about an hour south of Anderson, South Carolina, where the Hooters girls have come from both locations, Hooters of Atlanta and Anderson, providing some of the girls work in the crowd here this evening, and the fans are loving every minute of it. Under caution right now. The next 5 races on our schedule are going to alternate north and south. Louisville Speedway for the Northern Series drivers, Hickory Motor Speedway, love it there. The Southern guys will be at Hickory. Then back to IRP for the Northern guys. Myrtle Beach Speedway should have a nice mixed field, because at the end of the season it will be a site for one of the championship races. So we should see Northern and Southern drivers. The Northern guys are going to go to Chemung, New York. Those are the next 5 races on our schedule, but we are far from over here at Peach State Speedway trying to decide this one. The 7 lead lap cars are lined up behind Shane Huffman and Bobby Gill right now. Long green flag runs, Gene Crane, have meant lots of cars going laps down.
They've mowed a lot of good race cars down to at least 1, maybe 2 laps in arrears to the leaders. Derek Kelly, Bobby Gill, and Jay Fogelman came into this event as the only drivers to complete each and every lap. Derek Kelly is down the lap now, so only Gill and Fogelman will have completed every lap in competition this year to this point.
Another look off the deck lid of Del Murphy as the Jackaroo Meat Sauces car goes past the 86 of Chris Gordon, Paxton Stewart Land Company Ford.
They were 3 wide for just a moment. All the way down on the bottom is the yellow car of Mike Laughlin Jr. To the far left side was that number 21 of Derek Kelly. Kelly trying to work his way back to the front and maybe get that lap back.
Again, Del Murphy with high hopes after starting on the front row, getting a win here tonight. He's been pedaling back ever since. He's kind of stabilized right now as our Goodyear full field rundown will show you where everybody is running. Jason Sarvis and Stacy Puryear, 8th and 10th in the 2 cars that they switched places in. Both of them doing about equally well after they started 8th and 24th. Derek Kelly running in 11th position with Randy Porter right behind him. The rookies starting with Daniel Johnson, and including Del Murphy in 16th position there, Chris Gordon in 18th, who we saw a moment ago. Jabe Jones has come up another couple of spots from deep in the field at the start of this race. And Marty Ward doesn't look like it's going to be win number 5 here tonight for the veteran driver in the 97 Ward Motorsports entry. And mechanical problems and accidents have taken their toll here tonight among some of the drivers whose names you will see here in the last part of our Goodyear full field rundown.
Quite a battle here for 5th position. Brian Vickers along with Lee Tissett. Those two going at it quite often here over the past several laps. Now they go nose to tail using that wide line. The group has again crept up the banking meet you to the Speedway. So they're trying to go nose to tail right now to run some laps down.
Shane Huffman and Bobby Gill running up front here at Peach State Speedway. Come on back. The Jackaroo Sauces 250 presented by Ingles is still hot on a sultry evening here at Peach State Speedway. Our next race day, Louisville Motor Speedway, will host the Hooters Pro Cup Series with the Naturally Fresh Dressings 250 on Saturday the 19th at 7:30 if you're there. Ski and the Dews down on pit road again.
Dews on the Bobby Gill car. He's got his lucky shoes on. Hey, you putting the pressure on Huffman out there right now. Is he just setting the pace? You comfortable at that speed?
No, I think we're coming up a little short here. Kind of getting typical here. Way too long on the pit stop, although we did have a tough adjustment. We probably used up a little more of the tires than what we needed to at this point. So we're just going to get what we can get from here on out. 7 cars on the lead lap. Hopefully we can hold most of them off, take what we can get.
Thanks, Dews.
Well, Brian, what Bobby Gill's been trying to get has been on the entrance of the corner over the last couple of laps. He's trying to take the car in deep and catch up to Shane Huffman, but he's really punishing that right front tire if he continues to do that.
Our Naturally Fresh Mountain Spring Water leaderboard looks a lot as it did before. Many of the same faces are there. Lee Tisset in 6th, Fogelman 7th. They are the lead lap cars. And we are looking once again at Curley in the 44 has gotten back out onto the racetrack after a wall-kissing incident. The 78 car, which brought out the dramatic caution at halfway, Neil Browder is right there. The Mark III Employee Benefits Don Browder automobile. And those guys came to the racetrack here tonight with kind of an all-star pit crew. In fact, they came out with the Hendrick B pit crew. So from Hendrick Motorsports, some of the guys that are kind of the alternates to the top pit crew guys came to work on Neil Browder's car tonight.
Great opportunity for that team to get a little bit of hands-on practice and stay in shape, stay fluid, to be able to be called into action should they ever be needed.
Talked to some of those guys before the start of the race. They said Neil Browder has got all kinds of potential, and he's not afraid to spend the money that it takes to be a competitor in the Hooters Pro Cup Series. And we're here to help him do just that.
We saw Neil put together a couple of great runs last year and came out of the box pretty strong, although destroyed a car at St. Augustine Speedway.
Shane Huffman and Bobby Gill, you just feel the tension rising between those two guys. Dews doesn't think they have anything. We'll see. Still racing under green and still nose to tail, and even though the Dews may not think they have anything for the leader Shane Huffman, Bobby Gill is not the kind of guy that just waves the white flag. They will take what they can get, as Dews says, and they know what they have. You have to respect them for that. But you know what? If Bobby Gill sees an opening, he will keep the pressure on and drive through it.
Absolutely. He's going to take any advantage he can get. Oh!
Not that way.
No. That's going to hurt. He may have not knocked the toe off the car, but out of the front of the car, but looked like he was able to get to the inside of Huffman. Don't know if Huffman slowed up or what the situation was. Huffman has again put his foot back down on that throttle pedal and has opened up to about a car length and a half. Bobby Gill's car, see it again.
Coming out of turn 4, where, as David Sadowski said, the wall kind of comes at you.
Jumped right out and got him.
And another look at it here as he goes up and just tags the wall. I've got my own theory about this. Bobby Gill is such a good race car driver. He just doesn't want Dews and the guys to have nothing to do all week. So he's going to give them a little body work to work on. You know, that was just a little touch. He knew exactly where he touched that car. No damage done. Meanwhile, Hal Goodson, who I said was going to be the spoiler in this, I don't know.
Collins, are you looking for a caution right now? Are you looking for a caution right now?
Yeah, I mean, it'll help us out a lot. We're just too tight, you know, that 84 car, he's toting the middle tonight. We're just back there taking over what we got, but a caution sure would help us. Let's cool that right front down, because maybe we can make it a little interesting.
Well, I sure thought, and I think maybe you did too, Gene, on the restart there at lap 198, that Hal Goodson would get up there in the mix with Bobby Gill. The two veteran guys would be putting some pressure on young Shane Huffman, but you just heard Colin Ingalls say Huffman's toting the mail.
Huffman is toting the mail, so to speak, but also, you know, the last time we saw the 45 car of Goodson, he was sawing on that wheel. He was having to pitch the car in the middle of the corner and get it loose. And he's using up that right rear tire as well. Here's the guy I expected something from, Bill Clemens Jr., fresh off a win in Thompson, Connecticut. He had everything going his way there, and oftentimes when a team finally makes that jump to victory lane for the first time, that momentum is just going to carry him right to the front at the next event. He's not far from the front. He still has a way to go to catch Shane Huffman.
Started 7th, currently running 4th, Bill Clemens Jr. And we mentioned that 2001 has really been kind of a breakthrough year in more ways than one, because not only did Clemens get his first win, but he has consistently shown the kind of patience it takes to win a championship. He's a Northern Series driver, has declared himself for that half of the Hooters Pro Cup season and wants nothing more, and I believe he will be one of those guys that goes to the 4 Champions Challenge Series, the playoffs we've been calling it, as the points leader from up north.
Brian Vickers sits number 6 in that point standing for the North. He's working through heavy traffic.
Oh,
Lee Tissett, 3 wide.
Vickers on the inside.
And look at this.
Oh, and Tissett was going to get squeezed, but he found a hole to duck into. Man, if anybody thinks these guys aren't good at what they do, just roll that back on your videotape when you watch it at home.
Brian, at the beginning of the season, I've got the registration sheet for Brian Vickers for his 2001 registration. He wants to be a taxi cab driver in New York for a week.
Oh, he's qualified. Oh, come on back. It's getting good. Jefferson, Georgia, and Peach State Speedway for the Jackaroo Sauces 250 presented by Ingles. In the closing laps of the race, you can find out everything that's going to go on from this point forward and more at USARProCup.com. Of course, we want you to come to the race, watch it on Speed Vision, but then you can go to the website too, and that means you've got the whole magic triumvirate happening.
Plan out the rest of the season and make your plans to visit for the many ventures for the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series. Right now, the venture is for Shane Huffman to make his second visit to victory lane. Bobby Gill is trying to reel him in, but he may not have enough. We'll see in just a couple of laps.
Well, I keep feeling like Gill is going to make a run at him here, that he's just poised to strike, but every time a strike should happen, Shane Huffman just keeps motoring away. Meanwhile, Lee Tissett goes by Bill Clemens Jr., and that's the 5th and 6th places on the racetrack. Those two guys have been having a great tussle going on. As they hit the backstretch, the leaders are coming by with 5 laps to go.
Brian, the next Southern Tour event for the Pro Cup Series is at Hickory, North Carolina, Hickory Motor Speedway, where Lee Tissett went to victory lane last October.
And Bill Clemens Jr., of course, getting his first Hooters Pro Cup win after a long and storied career in the series. So lots of great racing going on for those two guys, racing one in the north, one in the south, and you know they're going to find each other at the end of the season like they have found each other on the track. Bobby Gill still trying to close up on Shane Huffman. He's there, he's shadowing, and if Huffman's doing any mirror driving at all, it could rattle him just enough for the door to open for Gill to get by.
Lap traffic coming into play. Randy Porter directly ahead of Huffman, your leader. They work off into turn 1, and a whole gaggle of cars for these leaders to try to get through to go to the checkered flag. Whoa, loose.
Oh, loose coming off the corner for Huffman, and Gill gets a little closer. Only a car length between them and lots of traffic up ahead.
It's like Huffman wants to go to the high side of Robertson. Can't get it done. Up close to that wall. We've already seen Bobby Gill get into the outside retaining wall off of 4, several laps back.
In a herd, the leaders are going to have to try to gallop to the line, and somebody's going to have to try to make their car wide while getting narrow enough to get past the traffic.
Like Huffman goes to the outside of Toby Robertson. White flag is out, final time around.
And Shane Huffman up on the high side. Gill follows him up there. The lap cars are staying down on the low side. Marty Ward swings up and then drops down. Huffman's got a clear run around the high side of the track with a half lap to go to the finish. He's going to come off the final corner and get the checkered flag for the second Southern Division Series in a row. He is going to go to victory lane. The gas guy keeps his helmet on because the rest of the crew is mugging him down there. That is a happy celebration. These guys, Ronnie White and the crew, got the job done in the pits to bring Shane Huffman out in the lead, and then it was all Shane Huffman out on the racetrack. You know, the crew's trying to run over David Sadowski to get to the celebration. Ski.
Ronnie, that was awesome, man. Great show.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, that was fun. I'll tell you what, Bobby came up there, I didn't think there's no way we was going to be able to hold him off. I just want to say hello to Coleman Dollarhide. He's not here with us tonight. His wife had a baby. Carson Ray Dollarhide, hope everything's doing fine.
Hey,
we'll see when we get back.
Man.
Thank you.
All right, once again with thoughts about their crewman that's not with them. The guys head for victory lane. Shane Huffman is pulled in, and of course all the hubbub is about to begin down there for him. And he ought to be used to it by now after Coastal Plains. He had some practice for tonight. So they're getting all the photographers' backdrops and stuff in place. And David Sadowski is headed over that way for the celebration. We'll take a quick break and come back for it. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky, yet unrefined. By Naturally Fresh Dressings. It's not just our name, it's our promise. By Jackaroo Sauces. Jackaroo tastes so great they named a steakhouse after us. By Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. And by Lucas Oil Products, the official lubricant of USAR, and a worldwide leader in heavy-duty and high-performance lubricants. Welcome back to Peach State Speedway, where the celebration is going on in Victory Lane. And you saw it begin. David Sadowski kind of got swept up in the herd, running in the direction of Shane Huffman.
Shane Huffman, he's the man in the Johnsonville Bratwurst car, the number 84 car here at Peach State, giving Reverend Jim a hug. Shane, an awesome show. I've never seen anybody drag Bobby Gill around the racetrack like you just did.
Well, I'll tell you what, I thought we'd give it away there on that lap car deal, and I just got a good bite off 4 and got back underneath him there. Just want to thank the good Lord. I want to thank Coleman Dollarhide. He wasn't here for this one. He's at home celebrating the birth of his new baby boy. All the mothers, Mother's Day, Johnsonville Bratwurst. I promised Randy Wilhoit I'd get him one when he was here, and this is for him.
Hey, you know how you top 2 in a row, don't you?
3 in a row? I'm aware right now. Let me enjoy this one.
All right, for Shane Huffman, and for Coleman Dollarhide, he might consider staying home from now on. He gets all kinds of publicity when he's not at the racetrack.
Of course, Huffman goes to Hickory Motor Speedway, his home track.
Yeah,
next.
There you go. Huffman, Gill, Goodson, Vickers, and Tiss at the top 5. Bill Clemens Jr. got passed late in the race and ends up 6th. Jay Fogelman will come out of here with the points lead, but not by much. And Jason Sarvis will be our Miller Lite Rookie of the race. Derek Kelly, good candidate for the Hard Charger Award from 29th up to 11th. We're going to have to do some quick math here and see if that's how it goes. Jabe Jones ends up in 20th spot after starting deep in the field in the 09 car. And you're looking at the rest of the results here. A couple of guys with a tough night. John Kinder kind of never really got going. John Curley had an up and down evening. And, of course, Scott Hall, the first man out of the race, I think is our undisputed candidate for the Carolina Kit Car Crunch Award here tonight. Small consolation for sure. There's Shane Huffman and his guys, Ronnie White and the rest, celebrating in Victory Lane and posing for the photographs, while Bill Clemens Jr. ponders what might have been. Back down to ski with a runner-up in this one.
Bobby, this kid's getting good, and I think he's getting good by following you around a little bit.
Yeah, he is. We had a good car the first half. The second half, they said we was blistering right front tire, so we had that long green on those fresh tires, and I think we blistered right front. But Shane, he's running pretty good. I can't take nothing away from him, and we just got to go home, work on our car, and find something better than these guys got. You know, he's got a Billy Hess chassis there, and you know, everybody that's what we run the last 2 years running what we got now, so we got to find something different now.
Were you concerned when you smacked the wall over here that you might have knocked the bead?
I was hoping it would tighten it up, but it didn't do much. But yeah, I know it's kind of dark coming off that corner there, and you can't see him. We run the high line here, but this Triple Diamond Ford Taurus was working pretty good today.
Bobby, it was a great show. The fans are on their feet the whole way.
Yeah, it was. I like those long green races. You know, separates everybody, and ain't no close racing.
It was awesome, man.
Thank you.
Bobby Gill, the great veteran. Where's he going now? Oh, he's going back. All right, Bobby, way to go. And indeed, our rookie of the race, sponsored by Miller Lite, goes to Jason Sarvis. Started and finished in 8th position, doing a great job in the race car that he just took over from Stacy Puryear. And the Black's Tire and with his new sponsor doing a great job out there. Here's the points. Look at this, 11 from Jay Fogelman back to Shane Huffman, and another 15 to third place, Bobby Gill. Look at the rest of the guys in contention for points while we go back downstairs.
You know, when you're chasing the championship, your work never ends. Right off the racetrack, checking it while it's hot, Jay?
Yeah, we were off bad tonight, and we're trying to figure out why with all this stuff hot and make sure we hadn't aerated a shock here. It just, I tell you, it never ends hunting for this championship. And, you know, they gained some points on us tonight. We just got to be better at Hickory next week, and that's what we're doing now. It starts right now.
What do you think of Huffman's drive here tonight? I mean, I know you didn't get a real good look at him, but I thought it was pretty impressive.
I mean, he's a good race car driver, and he's a good guy on top of it. But we're just going to have to get after it to keep up with these guys. It's going to be till the end of the year trying to get this thing won. But we're starting right now for next week.
Yeah, well, I know you and the Cooper family Ford team is going to keep it exciting for the fans.
Yeah, we're trying to. We're hunting a sponsor. Really need one bad. We've got to stay up front here.
Thanks, Jay.
Appreciate it.
Brian, a great representation as the intensity that it takes to run up front and the type of people we have competing in this Pro Cup Series.
Hard charger of the race indeed, Derek Kelly from 29th to 11th in the Discount Auto Parts number 21. Our hats off to him for doing it the hard way. And the celebration is still going on for Shane Huffman, who's going to give him a bath down there in Victory Lane. Somehow I feel like these folks don't mind at all. Congratulations to Shane Huffman, and we're already looking forward to our next race. Our next TV date for the Naturally Fresh Dressings 250 from Louisville is going to be Thursday, May 24th, and we want to see you here on Speed Vision. Again, Shane Huffman, 2 for 2 now in the last 2 races. Our thanks to Racing Electronics for keeping us in touch with everybody here tonight and doing a great job of it. Thanks to Carolina Custom Golf Carts helping us take a few fewer steps around the facility here this evening. And Speedvision.com, your source for all things automotive. Shane Huffman's got to be the guy to beat when we go to Hickory. He's 2 for 2 in the last 2 races. Thanks also to Fairfield Inn for their accommodations for our crew here tonight. Gene Crane, some final thoughts?
That track's always exciting. Add to the excitement we've already seen in 2001. It's going to be a great show.
My thanks to Gene Crane and to David Sadowski down on pit road, and to you, of course, for joining us as always. I'm Brian Trevor. So long, everybody.